Before we get into it, let me show you some of the reviews people have left for the MacBook Neo on Amazon, because sometimes buyers just get it. 5 stars. Quote, my old laptop took 45 seconds to open Chrome. The MacBook Neo opened it before I even finished the thought. I'm scared of it. Okay. 5 stars. Quote, I bought this to look productive at coffee shops. I have not done a single task. I just sit there looking extremely productive. Valid. 1 stars. Quote, 1 star. It's so thin I keep losing it under my other papers. I have filed a missing persons report twice. Fair enough. 5 stars. Quote, my therapist asked what changed. I said the battery lasts 22 hours now. She nodded like she understood. She does not understand. I mean, 2 stars. Quote, 2 stars. My coworkers can now see exactly how fast I type and expectations at work have completely shifted. This is a nightmare. Noted. 5 stars. Quote, open the box, heard a choir. Pretty sure that was just my neighbor's TV, but I'm giving it 5 stars anyway. Respect. Alright, let's actually get into the MacBook Neo review. The MacBook Neo got a lot of hype. Most of it was wrong. Not in a bad way, actually in a surprisingly good way. Apple undersold some of the best parts and oversold a few things that don't matter as much in real life. So before you hand over your money, let's talk about what this laptop actually is. Here's the short version for anyone who's in a hurry. The MacBook Neo is genuinely excellent hardware, let down by a couple of frustrating design choices that Apple absolutely should have caught. If you're a creative professional, a developer, or someone who just wants a fast, beautiful machine that lasts all day, this is hard to beat. If you rely heavily on legacy ports or you're cross-platform in your workflow, there are friction points worth knowing about before you commit. Overall score from me, 8.5 out of 10. Now let's get into why. Alright, the box. Classic Apple minimalism. Thin, white, satisfying resistance when you lift the lid. Inside you get the MacBook Neo itself wrapped in tissue, a braided USB-C charging cable, and the power brick. That's it. No stickers this time, which honestly feels like a small loss. But moving on. First impressions of the machine itself. It's lighter than it looks in photos. The aluminum chassis has this matte finish that doesn't pick up fingerprints the way older models did, which I immediately appreciated. The hinge feels solid, no wobble. Opens smoothly with one hand. The keyboard deck is clean, the trackpad is massive in the best way, and the screen bezel is noticeably slimmer than previous generations. Flipping it open for the first time, the display lights up fast, setup begins, and even in those first 5 minutes you get a sense that this is a well-built machine. Build quality feels premium throughout. Nothing creaks, nothing flexes. First impressions are strong. Let's talk specs, but I'm going to translate these into things that actually matter for your day-to-day life. The processor is Apple's latest silicon chip, and in plain terms, it handles whatever you throw at it without breaking a sweat. Video editing, compiling code, running a dozen browser tabs alongside Spotify and Slack. No slowdown, no fan noise, just quiet competence. Memory starts at 16 gigabytes, which is the new baseline for smooth multitasking in macOS. If you're doing heavy video work or running virtual machines, step up to 32. You'll feel the difference. Storage is fast. Genuinely fast, read and write speeds that beat most external SSDs from 3 years ago. Opening large files and saving projects feels nearly instant. The display is where things get exciting. It's a liquid retina panel with high refresh rate, meaning scrolling and animations are buttery smooth. Brightness is excellent indoors and holds up reasonably well in sunlight. Battery capacity is rated for up to 18 hours. In real mixed use, some video, a lot of writing, video calls, I was consistently hitting 14 to 15 hours. That's a full workday and then some. And the webcam is finally worth talking about. 12 megapixels, center stage support, and honestly flattering in video calls. Long overdue upgrade. Day to day, this machine is a pleasure. I spent 2 weeks putting it through normal work use. Writing, research, video calls, some light photo editing, and occasional longer video exports. Not once did I feel like the laptop was holding me back. Boot time is under 15 seconds from cold. Apps open fast. The system stays responsive even when you're juggling a lot at once. One thing I specifically tested was running a large export in Final Cut while simultaneously having 30 browser tabs open and streaming music. The MacBook Neo didn't complain. The fans, when they eventually kicked in, were quiet enough that I had to put my ear close to notice them. Thermals are well managed. The chassis gets slightly warm under sustained load near the top of the keyboard, but never uncomfortable. One quirk worth mentioning, the first day or two, the machine runs indexing and background optimization processes that can make it feel slightly sluggish. Push through that period. By day 3, everything feels snappy and settled. Gaming is possible, but not the primary use case. Casual games and older titles run fine. Demanding modern games are a mixed bag depending on native support. Reliability has been rock solid across 2 weeks. No crashes, no unexpected restarts, no weird software behavior. 3 genuine strengths that stood out. First, battery life that actually delivers. I've reviewed laptops that promise all-day battery and die by 2 in the afternoon. The MacBook Neo is not that laptop. I took this to a full day of meetings, a coffee shop session, and an evening of writing without touching a charger. That freedom changes how you work. You stop being anxious about outlets, you just use the machine. Second, the display is stunning. Whether you're editing photos, watching something on a lunch break, or just reading through a long document, the screen makes everything look better. Colors are accurate, contrast is deep, and that high refresh rate makes the whole interface feel premium in a way that's hard to explain until you've used it. Third, performance headroom. This laptop doesn't just handle what you need today, it handles what you're going to need in 2 or 3 years. The chip architecture is efficient enough that software is still catching up to it rather than the other way around. That's a rare thing to say about any computer, and it means this investment has genuine longevity. Now for the things that genuinely frustrated me, because no laptop is perfect. Port selection is still limited. You get 2 Thunderbolt ports and a MagSafe connector, and that's your lot. If your workflow involves SD cards, HDMI connections, or USB-A accessories, you're living dongle life. Yes, there are adapters. No, it's not seamless. Apple has the space to include more here, and the decision to not do so feels stubborn rather than elegant. Second, the notch. Yes, it's still here, and yes, most of the time you don't notice it. But in certain apps that don't handle it gracefully, the menu bar does awkward things. It's a small friction point, but an unnecessary one at this stage of the product's evolution. Third, and this one matters if you use certain software, compatibility with older Mac applications has gotten trickier. Some tools, particularly niche professional software and legacy apps, don't play nicely with the current architecture. Before you buy, check that your critical apps are fully supported. For most people, this won't be an issue, but for some, it's a deal breaker that's worth checking before purchase rather than after. Since Amazon reviews for this one are thin on the ground, I pulled together a few that reflect what real buyers are saying across platforms. First one, 5 stars. Bought this for work and accidentally became a better person. I'm not sure if it's the battery life or just the confidence of carrying something this nice, but I got a promotion 2 weeks after unboxing it. Correlation, probably, but still. Second, 4 stars. Incredibly fast, beautiful screen, runs silent. Docked 1 star because I now need to own 4 different dongles to connect anything I already owned. My desk looks like a technology yard sale. And my favorite, 3 stars. Gave it to my teenager for school. She uses it exclusively to watch videos and text her friends. It does both of those things flawlessly. Possibly the most expensive messaging device in the household. 5 stars for the machine, 1 star for my life choices. Real feedback from actual buyers across review platforms shows consistent praise for speed and display quality, with the port situation coming up repeatedly as the main frustration. That tracks with my experience completely. So here's where I land after 2 weeks. The MacBook Neo is an excellent laptop for the right person. Buy it if you want a machine that's fast, beautiful, reliable, and built to last. Buy it if battery life matters to you, if display quality matters to you, or if you're a creative professional who wants performance headroom for years to come. Skip it if your work depends on software that hasn't been updated to support current Apple architecture. Skip it if port flexibility is non-negotiable for your setup and you'd rather not build a collection of adapters. And skip it if you're a heavy Windows cross-platform user. The ecosystem friction is real. For everyone else, this is one of the best laptops on the market right now. Hard to argue with that. So that's my honest take on the MacBook Neo. Worth it, with a few caveats you now know about. Drop a comment below. Are you buying it or skipping it, and why? If this review saved you some research time, hit the like button. It genuinely helps. And subscribe because I put out a new honest review every single week. See you in the next one.